Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
Check out the podcast below in the description.
And also check out our sponsor, Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Yep. #1 vodka in America. Tito's.
Crafted to be savored responsibly. Greg Papa gets on the microphone to open the broadcast, and he says, T-Rock? He says, we're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo for the first quarter and then Trey Lance. Cool. I'm here for that. And then we get Jimmy Garoppolo for the first drive and Trey Lance for the first drive. And we got a preview of what we think Kyle Shanahan thinks it might look like. Now, at halftime of that game, Kyle was asked, is this what it's going to look like? Kyle's like, probably not. But as I was watching that first quarter, and particularly that first drive unfold, I thought if you're on the Lions defensive staff, your job just got a little harder this week.
Yeah, I don't necessarily even think he's doing it for the Lions, right? I think he is legitimately – we've been talking about – because really the only comparison is Taysom Hill, the way they utilized him. That is not a just comparison. And even they kind of mentioned that on the broadcast where it's like, he was very situational based. Like this guy, to me, honestly, I'd be shocked if he doesn't play 10 to 15 plays. There are only going to be 40 plays potentially on offense. So like this, there's a chance that it's a legit quarterback split. And we've talked about it. Like I'm from the school where most people, you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Yep.
This is a pretty unique situation though. And from an entertainment standpoint, I'm fucking in. Like it was a roller. By that second drive, it's like Jimmy's in, Jimmy's out. And even Papa was like, this is like a wide receiver unit, right? This is not normal. Taysom Hill came in and then he comes out. Like at any moment, you're like, oh, Trey Lance is back in. I'm expecting Trey Lance. The over/under on plays against Detroit to me is over 10.
Yeah. Now, well, if you told me in the end he plays 60% as many snaps as Jimmy plays, I don't know that I'd be shocked.
Did it cross your mind? You remember Iguodala with the Warriors? I guess it's always been like this, depending on great NBA teams. When they have a guy who's not a starter, but he finishes, and people are like, well, he doesn't start, but Iguodala plays 30-plus minutes, and he's a core guy, he's essentially a starter. Is that kind of what this quarterback, like, okay, Jimmy's might start week one, but is he actually the starter?
Yeah, that'll be determined by how many snaps, right? But if it's a 60-40 split, even that is not.
You're saying 60-40, Trey?
No, I'm saying if Jimmy Garoppolo gets 60% of the snaps and Trey gets 40% of the snaps, that's way fewer snaps than starters get.
Yeah, starters get every snap if they're healthy.
So right? I guess that's starter, but at some point that's liable to. To me, the question then also becomes: does that mean Trey could start some games but not actually become the starting quarterback of the team?
Well,
like, do you get to like week 4 and the curveball is Trey Lance comes on the field first, not Jimmy Garoppolo, to break up the rhythm of whatever the other team is prepared for?
You agree, after witnessing that today, everything's on the table? Yeah. Beside them probably getting rid of Jimmy. Like, I think he's safe. You get that $25 million. Right. I think he's lucky that Kyle is just going to kind of cook the books that way, but he is not, to me, a true starter.
But I think there's I understand the logic of
100%
keeping him around, quote unquote, cooking the books, right? Like,
yeah. Not many $25 million quarterbacks who are healthy, potentially take 50-50 reps in a game, right? It's a unique situation. It's a unique situation. Is there a chance? I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves because who knows? We'll have to see if this works. And we mentioned this before we hit play on the old Bad Boy podcast / YouTube here. Listen, is it probably going to work against the Lions? Yeah. Let's see it against Green Bay and Seattle back-to-back weeks in the end of September, right? It's just I'm not going to put the cart ahead of the horse. Like let's just see it operate when there's fucking some real stakes on the line.
Absolutely.
Because let's face it, is there really stakes on the line with the Lions? I mean, they have to win
you can't lose.
You can't lose, but like they could look kind of shitty and win 24-7 or something, and it's like.
We were talking about this the other day with the Y throwback Justin Fields touchdown and how, there's no risk when you call trick plays in preseason games, right? And it's similar to that. Like it takes you got to really believe. It's an experiment against the Lions. You got to really believe in it if you're going to roll it out against the Seahawks. But I saw some things.
Well, Green Bay Sunday Night Football week 3. Let's say they're both 2-0. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty fucking big game.
But again, like I kind of think he's gonna do it because I think he believes in some level of it. The question is, how much does he believe in it, and does it work enough the first time he tries it that he expands it the second time? Does it work enough the second time that he expands it the third time? So on and so forth. Does it really work when it really counts?
We talked from the jump in the offseason before camp even started. Like I just philosophically, put the young guy in there because that's how he gets reps. And then we watched the first preseason game, and you came on here. It's like, this guy's got to play. It is a way to get a guy playing time, but also not put it all on his shoulders. It's unique. It never happens like this.
This video brought to you in part by our friends DraftKings. Use the promo code HAM. Download the app. Get in our league linked below.
Yep. Also, our friends at mybookie.ag. Promo code HAM and the number 1. College football is rocking and rolling. The NFL's right around the corner. Get your gamble on. Mybookie.ag. Promo code HAM1. Right? We're potentially, if we think
Papa on the TV broadcast is talking about like the 1934 Rams or something.
Well, he did drop this reminds me of 1973 Staubach and Haberman. And they were, until Staubach kind of took it and ran with it. Right? It was like, yeah, Greg, I would imagine the overwhelming majority of your audience doesn't. I mean, I know Roger Staubach. I know he's talking about the Cowboys, but that is where Greg, the historian, kind of cut. Like him and Chris Russo can drop some of those that, our generation doesn't claim to even give a shit, but it is cool to hear.
No, it's a level of expertise that you have to have when you only have 3 seconds to come up with it and you don't have time to go to Wiki, like most people do, to fake it, like I do, to fake it, right?
Yeah.
But I would back to your original point, or one of your original points, because I thought the same thing watching it. If this is kind of what it looks like, it's going to be one of the number 1 stories in the NFL every Sunday because it's wildly entertaining. And when you do it this way, it's very easy to second guess.
It's never been seen. It's never really been seen before. If he goes all in on this,
it's something you do in college and fail at generally.
Yeah, works sometimes in college if your team's loaded. Like, let's say this. Let's say the 49ers were Oklahoma. Let's just say they were the equivalent of Oklahoma going into this season. And they had this 5-star Trey Lance, and they had this established starter and Jimmy, who was Spencer Rattler or something, let's say. And they had different skill sets. It wouldn't be that abnormal to see something like that. I guess, Kyler Murray was there. No,
but it tells you something about what they think about the players that are playing.
The starter.
Yeah, which we didn't. Yeah, it's not news to us. They drafted Trey Lance 3rd, so we know what they think. But
in college, they obviously like the guy that's on the team because they once recruited him. But then sometimes a guy is just much more talented. It's probably different.
Well, the other part of it is people are making money now. Guys are 5 stars. There are egos at play. No one's making 25. Right? That's part of the dynamic. $25 million. No one's making, not even Bryce Young off his new NFT, which is actually kind of sweet. He's making $25 million.
DJ Ungule is like, well, I'm about 7
He's like,
right
Dr.
now.
Pepper, stand up. Which, by the way, I had.
Did he get Dr. Pepper?
I saw him in a Dr. Pepper ad on Saturday, in like the Fansville ad. And I had this thought watching it because the NFL only catches breaks when it comes to star building. NIL is going to be so good for the NFL because now you've got Dr. Pepper promoting the next NFL draft pick, which only makes him more famous before he gets to the NFL. We talk about it all the time. The NFL gets all these guys from major colleges, 3 years, ready-made stars. Like Trevor Lawrence. Everyone knows who he is before he's taking a snap for the Jags. It's incredible.
Why wouldn't
even Gardner Minshew? People knew who he was when he came to the NFL.
I know. Why wouldn't what's Oregon's guy? How do you say his last name? Thibodeau? Is that how you say his last name? Thibodeau.
Thibodeau. Sorry.
Couldn't Nike throw him in an ad right now?
United Airlines. What? Yeah. I mean, so anyway, that's a whole other thing.
I'm interested. I got to keep an eye out for old DJ in the ad. How big does he look?
They show he's like somebody's watching TV and he's on the TV doing a Dr. Pepper ad.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I saw
which would have been illegal. He wouldn't have been able to do that. I
saw one local ad clip. I don't know where it was or who it was. I just saw a glimpse of it. It was like a local, like a small town local eatery type place, and it was like 2 college kids or like 2 players are sitting at a table, and the waiter comes up and is like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Making an ad." And he goes, "Isn't that illegal?" And they go, "Not anymore." Like, that is good.
That is genius.
That's a really good ad. I don't know what it was for, but anyway, I don't see any reason why Kyle Shanahan wouldn't continue to try to do that. Like when he says, I don't think we'll see what he says post-game. We're recording this before post-game. Do you see any reason outside of your own belief that this is not the best way to play quarterback? if Sunday was partly an experiment, if I were him, I'd feel better about the experiment after that third preseason game.
They have been experimenting with in practice, and regardless what he says after, unless he says, yeah, this is what we're going to do, which I doubt he's going to say that, but I'm not going to put much stock into it, because if you just take the philosophy, judge coaches, you can take this philosophy for any human, but definitely football coaches, judge them on their actions, not their words, because it is, they are very just naturally, scared of what they're putting out there.
Josh Rosen is our guy.
Yeah, that's an all-timer. But sometimes it works, right? Kurt Warner is our quarterback, and we will win with Kurt Warner. Did he truly believe that when he said it? Probably not, but it actually came true.
You just always state what is currently happening is what you're going to do, and then if it works out, you look like you knew, you were predicting.
In fairness to Vermeil, who I just saw actually is now in the Hall of Fame, potentially, whatever how Tom Flores got in, might be able to get in this year. The Vermeil, you have to say that when you're down to your third string quarterback with injury. The Josh Rosen thing, that age to me, now they got it right, kind of. They definitely.
They did, right. But we'll see how it works
way
out.
Better, Josh Rosen. It was a bold-faced lie, they knew what they were doing. Kind of fucked up, but is what it is.
Yeah. I'm excited to see this. I'm not convinced it's great, but I think it might be better than just starting Jimmy Garoppolo. That's part of it. Is this team wants to run the hell out of the ball, and Trey Lance does make them at minimum a better. We'll talk about his throwing ability in a second, but at minimum he makes them a better running football team.
The Eagles' defensive line's really good. That if they kill the Lions, which they should, that game is going to be a little more interesting than I think a lot of people. I hope the Eagles beat the Falcons week 1 because that'll put a little more juice in that game. It'll be their home opener, 1-0. I think you should be rooting for the Eagles to beat the Falcons, and I think they will. But just that 1-0 coming to the link, that fucking place will be pretty, as the kids say, litty. Be litty.
Yeah. I think the other thing about it is the two quarterback system is just watching both of the guys clearly. I don't want to be cheesy. There's a lot you can say about, Jimmy's handling this so well. But I do think, just watching from what we can watch, I do think there's truth to that. Watching him in practices, watching his body language, watching the way he competes, watching him dive for the end zone. There were a couple plays that happened in the game, including that one where I went, dude, why? But because he's playing.
Trying to earn his stripes, guy. Trying to earn that respect.
Oh,